Okay, in this tutorial we'll be using the pen tool, and it's a powerful tool in vector art. And let's make a new document around 500 pixels by 500 pixels. The pen tool, unlike freehanding, you can freehand a line and get more or less straight. But you're still going to have problems. With the pen tool, you're always going to have perfectly straight. You click your anchor point and click another point, and wherever you click, you're going to have a straight line. You can experiment with that. I'd like you to play with that. Just be clicking points, straight lines. You can use a shift. That will either give you a 45-degree angle or 90, depending on where you're closest to. When you click on the first anchor point, you'll see there's a little circle appears. That means your object is closed, and then you can add a fill. But that's not the power really of the pen tool. The power of the pen tool is to do curved lines. Let's try, well, I want to do a half circle. Okay, not very professional looking. If we use the pen tool, we click our first anchor point, we pull up, we click a second anchor point and pull the opposite direction, and there we have a nice curved line. This is especially useful when you're doing cartooning or cartoon animation. It looks far more professional unless you want the look of freehanding. You can also do an S curve. To do an S, we start our anchor point, go one direction, another anchor point, and pull the opposite direction, we get a circle. But if we pull the same direction, we get an S. Let's try that again. If we want to have an S curve, unlike a circle, we'll click one anchor point and go the same direction with the second anchor point. Will give us a nice circle. And we can do that over and over again. Now this is okay if all of our drawings are curves, have just straight curves. However, you're going to need to be able to do a sharp angle sometimes, as in the tutorial that we're going to be doing. So the way you do that is to set your first anchor point. Let's do our second, and if you hold down Option, that's a shortcut to get this little V tool here. You'll pull the handle up, and let's click another point, and that's how we get our angles. Just like that. I'd like you to practice this. There will be a quiz, and I will choose an object for you to draw. But first, to practice, let's start the tutorial. The tutorial is to draw a heart and have an arrow going through the heart. So let's start Anchor point 1, pull it up a little slightly to the left. Take your option and pull the other handle up like an antenna, exactly opposite. And then an anchor point for the bottom, and we want to make a nice heart shape. Also on this side needs to go up. Trying once again to mirror the other side as closely as you can eyeball it. And we'll go here. Oops. Let's try it again. Go up and pull it up. Oops. Go up. Pull it up. And go down. And pull it up. Look here. And pull it up. We have our heart. Now we can do a fill on this. It's kind of fun. There's also the mesh tool. Go like this. Take our little mesh tool also and click there. And wherever we click on this, then choose a color, and that'll make it so that it'll look a little more 3D. That's the mesh tool. Now let's take a arrow, make ourselves a nice line. There's 1 point, there's 2. Make sure we have a black stroke. And let's make it a little bit thicker so it's a little more visible. And let's take this one, and with the scissors we're going to need to cut it in half so that we have 2 pieces. Now with one side selected, filter, stylize, add arrowheads, and let's do this one first. Let me see, I get confused here. It's always the start and the end. Find some sort of arrow you like. Here we go. And on the other one, same thing. Filter, stylize, arrows. For the end we want 0. And for the start, there we go. That'll work. So there's our arrow. Let's make this a little chubbier. And take our arrow. And the other side. And we'll go into layers and put this layer underneath. And let's write some sort of little thing here. I'm going to make that just a path. And do the same thing on the bottom. First of all, let's type. Something cute. Let's type. And always be sure to make it bold. We want to make our type bold. And there we go. Looks like a tattoo. So let's save that. And then we're going to have to open it up in Photoshop. So we can temporarily save that on the desktop. Open it up, of course, in Photoshop. And once again, it's vector art. Vector art needs to be sized. It needs to be rasterized, turned into pixels. Warning, once you turn it into pixels, there's no turning around. You could turn it into vector art again, but it would be pixelated. So let's do open. And save for web. We want a GIF. I don't want transparency, so I'm going to deselect that. We could have collapsed it also. Yep, I forgot to resize it. Let me see what size. Okay, now save for web. As a GIF, because we have solid colors, we do have a little bit of gradient here with our mesh tool, but let's not worry about that. And save it, of course, as a illustrator. And this is our fourth illustrator in Dotson, and there we go. I want you to practice with this pen tool. It's a little frustrating, but I think you'll end up really liking it eventually.